everyone. It is Katie Crysdale here from Lakeview Aquatic Consultants. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you had a good first day of the week. If you are anywhere like me in Canada, Alberta, Western Canada, we currently have a heat wave going on, and it's got people frantically looking for places to cool off, to get out of the heat. And so I couldn't have imagined better conditions to be talking with tonight's guest about water safety education. Before I introduce them and invite them on, I want to talk a little bit about why I asked them to do an Instagram Live with me tonight. And that is because I think a lot of us get too focused on National Drowning Prevention Month or I'm going to get all my names mixed up here, but water safety education is something that we should be doing all year round. Drowning doesn't just happen in the summer. Drowning doesn't just happen in specific days of the week or specific parts of the year, but drowning education, water safety education, boat safety education, open water education, whatever you want to call it, that really should be happening all year round. And Kimiko and Jess have started an account, and they're going to be, Jessica's going to be joining us today talking about why they started their Water Safety First account on Instagram and sharing some of the strategies that they have found to connect with different populations and connect with people in a unique way. One of the reasons I want to invite them on to chat, or Jessica on to chat, is because I think very few people are just doing water safety education on Instagram. And if you think about the things maybe you're doing at your aquatic facility, maybe your lifeguards or your swim instructors are educating customers, maybe you've got flyers or posters, pamphlets, email campaigns, it's usually multifaceted. And these ladies have decided to put their energies into Instagram, and it's been really inspiring to watch their account grow over the last year because what they're doing really has an impact in a way that I think some of us, Instagram is the last thing we do. And what are some of the ways that we can incorporate Instagram into our water safety education, whether that's at your facility or whether that's you as a water safety professional. So I'm going to add in Water Safety First. If you don't follow them on Instagram, you know, and I'm going to let Jessica's going to talk to us about what they do on their account. So welcome.
Thank you. Hi. Thanks for having us.
So thank you so much for joining me. Why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, and then we'll talk about the account and what you're doing with it.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm Jessica, and my friend Kimiko, who we work together, started this Instagram account last year. It's been almost a year ago. Can you see me? I can't see you.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, cool.
Do you want to? Yeah.
I don't need to see. It's okay. If you have any like facial expressions where you roll your eyes or something at me, I won't be able to see it. So just so you Anyway, we started this account last year, right in the thick of the pandemic and all the closures, etc. And we just thought it was super important to spread water safety awareness. As you said, it's not just an isolated event that happens only during the summer months. And so, yeah, we started this account and started with a couple of followers, and it's grown to over 800, which we're excited about, because even if we have effect on one person to make that change about their thought process behind going boating or spending a day at the beach or jumping off that cliff that they always go to every summer, then we feel like we've made an impact. So, yeah.
I think that's so important. And I think you've really hit on one of the things I love about social media is maybe we're going to hit only one person. I mean, hopefully we hit more than one person, but maybe we're going to connect deeply in a way with one person that our traditional water safety education at the pool, maybe it wouldn't have reached them, right? So whether it's, men or young teenagers or different demographics, it can be really, really different on social media. And it's not a big budget, right? We're not doing an all-day event where we have to hit as many people as possible. We might only hit one person.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the nice thing about social media. We can, like we're doing right now, just hop on and talk to people in different parts of the world and reach people in different countries. And we love that. We love that we can broaden the conversation about it. Kamika and I attended a world conference on drowning prevention a few years back, and back then, before social media was like the thing to do, we only got to meet with the water safety professionals that were able to afford to come from different countries to Vancouver. And so now that we're able to hop on here and chat about it and discuss water safety is just priceless. And it doesn't cost us anything, right? It just costs us our time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also too, I think it's easier to find your people. So whether you have a specific area of interest or a specific, personal background, whereas in a room of 300 people in Vancouver at the National Drowning or World Drowning Prevention Conference,
Mm-hmm.
it might be hard to find those exact alignments with the aid of the algorithm and everything else, right? Hashtags, we can really quickly hone in on a specific audience or a specific target demographic, because we know with drowning there's a lot of statistics that do replicate year over year. So children with outside of arm's reach, under the age of 7, behaviors like you mentioned, cliff jumping, boating, alcohol, but that doesn't mean that there's not these one-off situations that are we don't necessarily haven't educated about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because my sister, she lives in Calgary, and she had actually just sent me an article this week about the boy Weston Perez, who drowned in Texas, 2016, June 16th, 2016. And the mom has become quite the advocate for water safety. And I just came across it when my sister shared it this week. And her son he was 7 years old. They were at a backyard pool at their friend's house, and he was autistic, nonverbal, and prone to seizures. And she said, I did everything I thought I was supposed to be doing right. I had my kids within arm's reach. I thought I would be able to hear him if he went under the water and drowned, the splashing. And unfortunately, he had a seizure right in front of her feet. He slipped under the water on the bottom step there, the shallow step, and he ended up succumbing to his drowning. And here's this mom and she said it was ironic because she was just warning her other kid to just be safe around the water and don't run. And then her son just drowned right in front of her. So that's like a big thing that we should really be honing in on, is like the movies. It's made it out to seem like drowning is this huge, elaborate event where people are thrashing and help, help, help. And it's not that at all. It can definitely be, it could be that a little bit, I suppose, if, a boat capsizes and there's people able to swim and alert the attention of others. But it definitely can be silent and, yeah, scary. So, yeah.
Well, and the seizure incident is one that sticks to me as well. We had a seizure at a pool I lifeguarded, I couldn't even tell you, maybe 10 years ago. Yeah. And at the time, I had never, both as a trainer, as a water safety instructor, as an experienced lifeguard, as a facility supervisor, I'd seen seizures on land and I'd heard of seizures in the water, but the complications, the individual ended up being in hospital for 8 or 9 days. It was significant, right? A seizure in the water is a much higher level of complication. And at the time, the caregiver, who was accustomed to this individual having seizures all the time, was sort of like, oh yeah, it's no big deal, because she herself didn't have an aquatic background. She's just thinking, well, he has seizures on land, he has seizures all the time, we're good, And so there's a lot of layers to water safety and drowning education. Talk to us about when you started the account. What were some themes or goals, or what were you guys picturing when you started the account?
Just to spread awareness, to be honest. At the time, I was on maternity leave. I have 2-year-old twins now and a 5-year-old daughter. And so I had received a message from someone close to me about a new boat that they had purchased, and the people weren't wearing life jackets in it. And I really got very upset about that. And I really took a step back and thought, oh my goodness, I'm a water safety expert. I've been in aquatics my entire life. I've taught people about swimming lessons and the Canadian Red Cross program and what you should be doing to be safe in, on, and around the water. And I just thought, oh wow, like I'm so privileged. I have this information to hold forever. And clearly not everybody has the same information or the same stress behind it as I carry and possess. So I thought, and I called Kimiko to tell her about the experience that I had received. And I just thought, we need to do something about this. Our rec centers are closed. Who knows when they're going to be opening? We're entering another warm, sunny season. Like, where are people going to learn about drowning prevention? And then I thought, that's it. Like, we're going to start our own account. And, we both work for a city that is close to us. And we just thought, we can make our own water safety account. We can spread our knowledge. Like, we can do this. And so the theme was just spread water safety knowledge. And we started with backyard pools and inflatable pools and what you can do to stay safe, like keep a fence, self-latching gate around your pool, and drain all floaty pools, and always assign a water watcher, like all those basic things. And then we thought, let's do a Water Safety Wednesday chat every Wednesday. And then, of course, when I went back to work in September, it became a little bit more challenging to just have the two of us. But then we thought about, let's reach out and interview other people, such as what we're doing right now. And, prior lifeguards, and interview people that have had someone who has drowned. And, Instagram, you can easily get lost, as you said, in the hashtags and whatnot. And so one night I was searching hashtag drowning and came across country music singer Amber, and reached out to her just in her private message, and she responded almost instantly and said, yeah, for sure, I'll do an interview with you. And I didn't really put much thought to it, to be honest. I just thought, cool, we need to interview this person. We need to share a real story, because people connect to real stories. They connect to conversations like you and I are having right now versus the scripted thing that you have to read off of, and it sounds so fake. And I just also like to bring to the attention that you and I didn't talk before we started doing it. You're like, hey, let's talk. And I was like, cool, let's do it. And so this is all natural. So yeah, so anyway, that was important for us to be authentic, spread our knowledge, and try to keep it. We were really aiming for doing our water safety videos under 10 minutes, because we appreciate that the attention span of people nowadays is very short and limited. And then we reached out to our friends and asked for pictures of their kids around the water, and then we kind of just went from there. And so now we've kind of evolved into thinking like, okay, where are the long weekends throughout the year? What are any special holidays or events coming up? Because we being on mat leave, what are you going to do with 3 kids stuck in quarantine? Obviously, you're going to do art, because why not? So, yeah, we just started doing some chalk art on my front cul-de-sac here. And then we thought, oh, cool, let's make some chalk art posts and we can throw those up. So if you have a follow at our Water Safety First account, you'll notice that every third post is a chalk art photo. So, when they're all together, they line up nicely.
No, I love the chalk art. I think it's so important to have something different, but also not to stress over it. So I love what you said about just starting. And yeah. I think a lot of people, whether it's in their day-to-day work jobs or in, aspirational goals, whatever they want to do, it's waiting for that perfect moment. Whereas you probably have the skills already, you're holding yourself back from just starting. And I think like the chalk art for me is so different from anything else that I'm seeing in water safety education. It really sticks out. Yeah. And then you're incorporating your kids with the chalk art, like 3D, 2D, that it's also fun, right? So you're hitting different topics, whether it's boat safety or ice fishing. We'll get you to talk about the ice fishing one in a second, but they're captivating, right? They grab my attention in a way that maybe just a graphic, people think, well, graphics are cleaner, more professional. Graphics are boring, right? Who wants to see another graphic?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We definitely, we thought about it at the end of the summer. Last summer, we thought, oh, well, if we're going to do a post, every third one has to be a chalk art. Like, oh, we need to do some winter posts now in the summer, because we're not going to be out here. Well, my family is, but chalk washes away with the Vancouver rain quickly. So, yeah, you want me to talk about the
ice fishing. I love the ice fishing one.
Yeah. So we had kind of lined up what we would talk about for the winter, and my daughter Madeline, 4 at the time, she's just the sweetest kid. She's my oldest soul child. And we said, we need you to dress up in your winter jacket and boots because you were going to be ice fishing. And it must have been like the hottest day. And she was like, I don't want to. And I'm like, please, it'll just be for 2 seconds and I'll bribe you with candy. So sure enough, she threw it on and pretended to be fishing with her little Melissa and Doug magnetic fishing rod and fish. And yeah, just threw it together. So we did that. We did like how thick should your ice be before you go on the water? I think a lot of people think, oh, water safety summer. Oh, water safety beach, warm, pool. But water safety incidents, accidents can happen, as you said, in the winter months as well. So yeah.
Well, and I think we're so limited. Even speaking for myself as a water safety instructor, when I grew up in Ottawa and then I worked at the University of Toronto and I was in very urban settings, right? The things that I prioritized in my lesson plans, both the curriculum that was assigned to that age or that skill, right, and then my own frame of reference was a lot more limited than it is now after I've been in Alberta almost 8 or 9 years, and ice fishing and the outdoor lifestyle is quite different here. And so, you know, even my reference of boating in Ontario might have been a canoe on a still lake, whereas in Alberta it's usually a power boat on a glacier lake, right? Like it's a quite different safety concern. And I think our programs, our national programs, they do the best that they can to standardize curriculum, but making it your own and connecting it to your community or to your students is really what's going to make it stick.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, Kamiko doesn't have kids, but she has a large group of friends that have different interests than I do. We're people, actually. We don't have very many friends that overlap at all, actually. And then I, of course, capture all of the people that have kids and the mom friends and the multiples groups that I join. So at the beginning of the season, every summer, we try to go on Facebook and throw up some reminders and some links to our accounts. And we've just been so happy and just proud of ourselves. We've had a lot of people private message with questions about, like, does this life jacket look like it fits my kid properly? Or and then I've, of course, called out a few friends posting pictures of them on boats with their kids with no life jackets. And I'm like, come on, where's your life jacket? Like, you need to save yourself before you can save your kid. And
oh my gosh,
it's been great. Like, it's been great. So yeah.
Well, and it's so interesting. I was telling you yesterday in the one email that I sent you about, I was watching a vlog on YouTube from an Instagram influencer that I follow. I mean, not big. I think she's got like 1.5 million followers, but she was in Cancun. It was a family trip, and I'm watching they have a boat rented for the day. And yes, it's a big boat, and yes, it's a stable boat. Yeah. She's got her 9-month-old in her lap in the boat. And I'm just like, but then I take a step back and I'm not looking to pass any judgment. I'm thinking, so how did we get there, right? What steps led to that? I don't think it's a decision that she intentionally said, oh, I'm going to not put my baby in a life jacket. It's maybe the life jackets weren't available, or they were stored away, or they didn't have the right size because her child was under 20 pounds, or, you know, like, just how did we get there?
That's super important. Like, that's what I was thinking. That's what created the Instagram account. Like, why doesn't everybody know this knowledge? Well, if you didn't learn it in school, and if the doctor didn't teach you when you gave birth to your kids about water, like, where are you going to learn this from unless you actively go to seek it out? And if you don't think it's a problem because you don't know it's a problem, because if you know that drowning is the #1 leading cause of preventable death in children ages 0 to 4, then why would you think it's a problem until you hear about it and watch this video? So yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, you've had some great success. We're talking with Water Safety First about their water safety education account on Instagram. You mentioned the Smiths, so country singer couple, famous singer. A few years ago now, their child drowned, and they've been very out and open about the experiences. I think, you know, it's amazing the you know, horrible time they've gone through, but then to really educate other people about the circumstances that led to that incident for their family. But then also you mentioned multiples, and I know you were working, you had a post with Van City Triplets, yes? Or you did something with them, I don't remember.
Yeah, her kids are not far behind my kids age-wise, and she's just one mom in this Facebook group called Dina's Double. She's a midwife here in Vancouver who just only delivers multiples. She has been for over 18 years. And
wow.
Yeah, so it's quite a big group, and we go on there and, you know, connect about various challenges we encounter having more than one baby at a time. And just this mom with the triplets, she's just hilarious. I think she's so funny and outgoing. And so I follow her stories. Her and her husband are in the film business. And yeah, I connected with her because she was taking her kids to the pool with her nanny and her husband at like 6 o'clock in the morning, because it was the only time that they could book swim time in because of nap time schedules and then the limitations due to the restrictions of numbers in the pools with COVID. So I just thought, oh wow, like, you are doing everything you can. You have 3 babies under 1 and you were making an effort to go to the pool. I think a lot of, I'm not sure what the status is across Canada, but here in BC, our pools are open, but with limited numbers. So it is a process to book. and plan out your weekly schedule. And some cities local to us sell out within a matter of minutes. So if you're not in by Sunday at 9:02 p.m., your swim time for the following week might be taken and you wouldn't have an opportunity. So it's great for those that can get in, not so much for those that can't. And those that can't, they just go to the beach or lake, or they just don't go. And a year goes by and you know.
Or they're looking to swim somewhere where they really shouldn't, which is the big issue in Calgary right now. So we have the Bow River where I am in Okotoks. We have we have runoff from the mountains, and it's quite cold and it appears quite safe, right? But people, they make decisions based on the heat, right? So we've got this heat wave. It's unusually hot for Alberta. People here don't tend to have air conditioning, and so the heat just makes them sort of crazy, and they make decisions without the consequences, like without thinking about, where am I going to get out of the river? Where am I going to, who's going to come get me, and how am I going to be safe? What if something were to happen and I'm, 20 kilometers from where I left my vehicle, right? To say nothing of everything else around water.
Yeah, just to quickly talk about making decisions without thinking, though, and the heat. I mean, today in BC is the record breaker of all existence. It's never been this hot. People are recording temperatures of 44 in their vehicles right now. It is insanely hot. I have the luxury of being in a central AC house right now, so I can think and produce sentences clearly. But that being said, if you see a situation that's dangerous or potentially life-threatening to someone you love and care about, or someone you don't love and care about, but you still think for the existence of the human race, they should probably not be doing that, don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to have a conversation with that person. If you're in the moment and you feel like, it's a peer doing it, or if it's a friend, or if it's someone older than you and you feel awkward, think about the what if I don't tell the person this, hey, take a step back, like this actually isn't very safe to be doing this activity. What if you don't make that stance and talk to that person? Forget about how awkward it might be, or they might get defensive. They'll cool off later. I think that's really important to get across, because we can't be policing, the lifeguards can't be policing everyone. It needs to be a group effort by everyone. Shout out to McDonald's, by the way. My friend works at McDonald's, and she had reached out and said that she had an email from head office about Water Safety Week, which was really cool. Yeah, that's in the food industry.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought. And that's the kind of large brand that if they decide that's something they want to support continuously, can potentially really reach populations that we don't always have the opportunity to reach.
Exactly.
I love what you're saying about being direct. It's ironic because I was trolled yesterday for being very direct on a different subject. And sometimes I think it's just the lifeguard in us, where it's, intervention, prevention is so key to what we do. And certainly as Canadians and women too, we might have a culture of, we want to be liked, or we want to kind of smooth things over.
Yeah.
But there's a time and a place for that. And there's certain atmospheres and environments where, seconds matter. Yeah. And I'd rather be disliked if the message stuck.
Yes, I agree 100%. I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you guys have planned for this summer? I know obviously you're busy with wrangling kids and you want to enjoy the summer, but do you have any specific plans for the account, or any specific things you're working on?
Well, we do. So we interviewed Dr. Bierman.
Oh, good. Awesome.
A month and a half ago. Yeah. Except we recorded it on Zoom, which is great. And we haven't quite figured out how to convert that into Instagram. So we are working on that. So we have that, which was a cool interview. Kamiko totally fans him. He's a doctor that's done a ton of drowning prevention research over the years. Anyhow, there's that. And then I'm hoping to do some more live stories and some pictures this coming week. My family and I are going to Vancouver Island for a family vacation at a place right on the ocean. So there's that. And then aside from that, we hope to post some posts around the long weekend. BC long weekend is the first weekend in August. There's the July long weekend coming up. We've also partnered with the Vancouver Lifeguard Association. They reached out to us, so we are having a discussion with them about potentially getting some giveaways, some free life jackets for people if we can figure out how to do a contest, what that might look like. So that's what we're looking at right now. Yeah, and then just keep motoring along. If anyone wants to sponsor us and throw us hundreds of dollars, we'll figure out how to spend it. That would be super fun. Yeah.
I hear you. No, I love your philosophy that, I mean, certainly giveaways are fun and having high profile guests is fun, but honestly, just the grind of doing it, whatever, once a week, couple times a month, I mean, that's just as important. I think what I was trying to say in the introduction about, you know, National Drowning Prevention Week or Water Safety Month, they do have a place. But I think as somebody who works in swimming pools day to day, I get a little bit tired that, you know, 1 month of the year we're suddenly on guard and proactive and pulling out all the stops. And then 11 months of the year, you know, we're not doing little things that really matter. And I think especially you've touched on the access piece with COVID, where, you know, in Canada with our pools requiring bookings, you have to be privileged to be at a device where you can book. You have to be privileged to know your work schedule. You have to be privileged to be able to pay those admission fees before the day and the time that they're due. You have to be privileged in the case of triplets. You know, it's amazing that she has 3 children and then 3 caregivers that can go and be with those children, as opposed to other families where there might be multiple children and only one person has the ability, or a 14-year-old has the ability to go with them. And I had a really interesting conversation with someone recently. They were an aquatic facility supervisor, and she said, well, that's just not acceptable. That's not the right ratio. And I said, hold on. If this is a single parent situation, are you saying that because there's no adult who can come with the child that you're going to exclude them completely from swimming? Right? Like, what is the purpose of ratios? But then how do those ratios or supervision guidelines run up against actual life? Right? And how do you, you know, like it's you have to thread that needle.
Yeah. And definitely there's a lot of policies and procedures that are getting revisited, I find, and looking at them, and it's good. I think it should. And even just the way we program our pools is obviously getting a facelift. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the future holds with swimming and programs and lessons and how we run things. So, but one thing without a doubt, swimming is a life skill. It needs to be learned. And as I said earlier, the #1 cause of leading cause of preventable death of children. Like last year I had 3 kids in that age range. Like, you know, why wouldn't we want to put out some more education on that? So yeah, anyway.
Well, I think you guys, I love what you're doing on the Water Safety First account. Those of you who are watching this video, if you don't follow them, definitely check out the account and think about how you or any of us really, we can educate or advocate. I was trying to make a new word there. Water safety education, right, in our own spheres, right? It doesn't have to be what another pool is doing or another pool is doing. It can be just what you want to be doing. Like, I love the chalk art, right? Yeah. We're doing chalk. Yeah. We're doing water safety education.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, thank you.
Do you have any final thoughts, Jessica?
Yeah, what's for dinner? That's my thought. I just got home. I'm a little bit hungry.
No, I hear you.
I don't. I'm just a working mom, and Kamika and I do this because we genuinely have fun. We never treat it like it's a job. I lied. Maybe in the beginning I was like, oh, we have to like line up our next guest and who we're going to have. Maybe it was a little bit stressful in the beginning, thinking when we were kind of running dry a bit. And then I was like, you know what? We're just doing this on our own time. Like, we're doing the best we can. This is just a side gig for us, and whatever we do is great anyway. So, yeah, final thoughts. Don't be afraid to speak up. And who knows, you might be able to save a life this year. Yeah.
Great thoughts to end on. So thank you so much, Jessica from Water Safety First. And thanks so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.